Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Wacky and Weird Wednesday and also Valentine's Day. So let's see what weird stuff's happening in the news and what things I guess you should do for your loved ones, whether they're your friends, your family, or actually your significant other. Let's go ahead and get into our headlines here today on Before Coffee. Reformed pastor gives child abuse victims his salary supplement while Zoltan Bolog is the head of the church.
And America's favorite cross-dressing volleyball player, George Santos, has been replaced in Congress by a Democrat.
Greenland's ice sheet is melting and being replaced by vegetation.
And we have a case of the plague in Oregon, or Oregon as some people call it, and a ray has apparently performed asexual reproduction.
Still looking for a Valentine's Day gift? 5 reasons to make your wellness debut together now.
Those stories and more, which is not only Ash Wednesday, Valentine's Day, it is also Organ Donor Day, February 14th, 2024 on Before Coffee.
All right, our first news story here is about Hungary. Hungary's been in the news lately because of EU stuff, and famously they are a very conservatively religious country trying to kind of use their standing in the EU to control the progress that some countries want to do in the EU. But this isn't about politics per se, but instead it's about the current Hungarian head of church. With repentance before God and compassionate love for victims, I offer this pastoral salary supplement paid to me by the Danube River district of the Hungarian Reformed Church for benefit of the victims of child abuse, announced Reformed pastor András Kisuros, the senior pastor of the Gyomorro Reformed Church, on a social media page on Wednesday morning, which is today, February 14th. This is from telex.hu, which I think is a Hungarian news source, written by Zsofia Hanga Aradi. Surios, which I'm sorry for butchering all these names because I don't know Hungarian, wrote that during the mandate of the incumbent church district leadership, he will deliver his donation to those concerned every month. The Dunamelik Church District of the Hungarian Reformed Church is headed by Reformed Bishop Zoltan Balog, who announced on Tuesday, which is the 13th of February, that he will not resign his position because of his role in a pardon case. According to the report of Gulasagu Media in the Reformed Church, it is primarily the responsibility of individual congregations to support their pastors, but their church district also provides them with a salary supplement. This is what Kisuros offered to the victims. Another Reformed pastor, Zoltan Tar, joined his initiative and encouraged his colleagues to do the same. Zoltan Bolog's responsibility arose in the scandal that led to the resignation of Katalin Novak, because several independent government sources and sources close to the head of state's office told Direct 36 and Telex in recent days that he played an important role in the pardon case of Novak's advisor and old Bolog as a mentor. According to information, Bolog encouraged the president of the republic to pardon K. Andrei. When the scandal broke out and both Novak's colleagues and Viktor Orban's team asked Balog for an explanation, he defended himself by saying that it was not his personal decision, but that several people in the leadership of the Reformed Church wanted to ensure that K. Andrei should be pardoned. On the 12th of February, the government politicians already signaled to the Hungarian Reformed Church they would like Zoltan Balog to draw appropriate conclusions, and according to the news, Viktor Orban also considered Balog responsible. Balog finally announced on the 13th, after a sympathy vote held in the synodal office of the Hungarian Reformed Church, that he would not resign. In the video about this, Balog said that he did not submit the pardon request, but as an advisor to the President of the Republic, he agreed that with it, based on preliminary opinions and other information. I was wrong and I made a mistake, he admitted and apologized. In 2018, after 6 years as a minister, Zoltán Balog did not take on another role in Viktor Orban's third government. Then it seemed that he would leave the political field and devote himself entirely to the church. But in January 2021, he became Reformed bishop and then the pastoral president of the synod, i.e. essentially the domestic leader of the Reformed Church, which in a way is a political position. However, Balog has maintained and made maximum use of his governmental and political connections as a bishop. You can read, I guess they wrote more about that in another article about Balog Zoltán. But he's very tightly associated with the government and has a lot of power in the church, and that is why when he does things like asking to pardon people who have committed child abuse, other pastors decide to donate their salary to those victims in protest. So this is kind of, I guess, in a way, not weird and wacky, but also weird and wacky.
Yeah.
when the pastors want to give money to their victims, I guess that should always be celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
So there's my short little news story on what's happening in Hungary with the Reformed Church. On to your story.
All right, here we go. American politics before we get to the weirder stuff in the world. Well, what's weirder than George Santos, right? This is from AP, but it's national news. It isn't like they got the scoop on anybody. Anthony Iagari, right? Nobody got a scoop. You just go ahead and read the election results and you got your story. Democrats Tom Suozzi. That's Suozzi. 2 Z's in your name, man. That's cool. I love it, a Z in my name. Stewart. Anyway, Democrat won a special election for U.S. House seat in New York on Tuesday, coming out on top in a politically mixed suburban district in a victory that could lift the party's hope heading into the fiercely contested presidential election later this year. Suozzi defeated Republican Mazi Phillip to take the seat that was left vacant when George Santos, also a Republican, was expelled from Congress. The victory marks return to Washington for Suozzi, who represented the district for 3 terms before giving it up to run unsuccessfully for governor. It is unclear how long this next stint on Capitol Hill will last as the redistricting process unfolds that could reshape the district. But for now, the result narrows the already slim Republican majority in the House. It provides Democrats a much-needed win in New York City's Long Island suburbs, where GOP showed surprising strength in recent elections. Well, basically, George Santos won because their opposition didn't do any research. How could you not uncover that guy? And he ran twice before he won. Suozzi stressed in his campaign trail theme of bipartisan cooperation in a victory speech that was briefly interrupted by protesters criticizing his support of Israel. There are divisions in our country where people can't even talk to each other. All they can do is yell and scream at each other. What do you mean by that? Oh, sorry. Anyway. That was my attempt at humor. That was not the answer to the problems we face in our country. The answer is to try and bring people together and try to find common ground. The way to make our country a better place is to try to find common ground. It is not easy to do. It is hard to do. I don't think it's that hard to do. I think we're most things we have in common in that the elites, the people, the rich people at the top have a vested interest to keep us fighting amongst each other. Yeah. They split us down the middle and go, there's your dividing line, folks. You're on that side or the other side. Now fight.
Don't look over here behind the curtain.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
And then the rich people go, but don't look over here behind the curtain. Just keep fighting each other while we do some stuff over here.
I should play you I don't know if you know what Emu Phillips is, but he has a great joke about this guy's about to kill himself, and he's like, maybe we got something in common, and he goes down the things they have in common, and it ends up they're the same religion, and he starts finding the things that they have in common, and within that religion that they're in, and at the very end, he's like, oh, wow, you're a heretic, and he pushes him off the bridge. Anyway, even though they got the same religion right down the line, until one little detail, Heretic pushes him off the bridge. Anyway. Suozzi will likely reassure Democrats that can perform well in suburban communities across the nation must be critical of the party's efforts to take control of the U.S. House and re-elect President Joe Biden. Well, the Democrats have not lost an election since 2020, so I don't know. Just keep turning out. And, of course, if you have a uterus, you probably see your vested interest to vote. Still forecasting it for November could be complicated given that turnout, already expected to be low given the abbreviated race, is potentially hampered by a storm that dumped several inches of snow in the district election on election day. Both campaigns offered voters free rides to the polls as plows cleared wet slush from the roads. In the short term, the result could be a factor in ultra-tight votes. The House, where Republicans hold just a 219 to 212 majority, is an example of how important one seat can be. Of course, 219 to 212 only comes out to 431. That leaves 4 seats not even spoken for. So I don't know what's going on with that math. An example of how important one seat can be, the House Republicans voted Tuesday night to impeach Homeland Secretary, whatever. Republicans did some political stunt based on nothing, and it's going nowhere. A polling place on Long Island earlier in the day, 59-year-old Eleazar Sarius said he cast a ballot for Suozzi because the former congressman appeared more able to work with the opposing party to reach agreements in congressional gridlock. The constituents elect our officials to perform a certain job, and we really had a very stagnant congressional year. Well, you got one party that can't even elect a leader. And when they do, they threaten him, throw him out if he just does one thing wrong. That's not leadership. That's leading by terrorism. The constituents elect our officials to perform a certain job, and we really had a very stagnant congressional year, Sarius said after voting in middle school in Levittown. Even with the migrants now, we had a bipartisan deal in Congress, and suddenly it evaporated. Like, why? Do we really need to wait for another president to come? Aren't we the issues that are pressing to everyone important at the moment? On the campaign trail, Suozzi, a political centrist, leaned into some of the same issues that Republicans have used to bash Democrats, calling for tougher U.S. border policies and roll back New York laws that make it tougher for judges to detain criminals awaiting trial. Okay. The unusual midwinter. In other words, let's come down on the poor people for all their problems. The unusual midwinter election became necessary after Santos was ousted by his colleagues in December, partway through the first term. Santos won office in what was been a reliably Democratic district, partly by falsely portraying himself as an American success story, a son of working-class immigrants, and made himself a wealthy Wall Street dealmaker. The many elements of Santos' life story were later exposed as fabrications, as he was indicted on multiple charges, including allegations he stole money from Republican donors. He was pleading not guilty. Stealing money from donors, well, they were giving him money, man. I really don't fault them for stealing money from suckers, you know? With no time for a primary before the special election, Democrats nominated Suozzi, a political centrist known for voters in the district. Republicans later turned to Philip, a relatively unknown candidate with a unique personal story. Born in Ethiopia, she migrated to Israel as part of Operation Solomon and served in Israel's defense forces before eventually moving to the U.S. and winning a seat in Nassau County. Philip concluded the race and said she congratulated Suozzi in a phone call Tuesday night. Yes, we lost, but it doesn't mean we're going to end here. Look at that, congratulating somebody because you lost. Isn't that what we normally do after elections? Biden's campaign manager is quick to link the victory upcoming presidential race. Donald Trump lost again tonight. When Republicans run on Trump's extreme agenda, even a Republican-held seat, voters reject them, Julie Chavez Rodriguez said. Trump responded to the result in a post on social media. The short campaign was dominated by issues, abortion, immigration, and crime that are expected to shape crucial suburban areas and nationwide in this year's battle for Congress. Despite being an international migrant herself, instead of an international migrant herself, Philip hammered Suozzi over an influx of asylum seekers in New York. Okay, go back to your own country, lady, okay? Go back to your country. How about that? You're an immigrant. Go back to your country. Jesus Christ. Talk about having no self-awareness. Trump, let's see there. Despite being an international migrant, okay, we did already. In response, he spent much of the campaign talking about the need to strengthen border policy, pointing out the times when he bucked his own party on the issue while in Congress. In the final stretch, Suozzi said he would support a temporary closure of the border to show the number of arrivals. Similarly, comments that Biden has made. Suozzi counterattacked Philip on abortion, saying she couldn't be trusted to protect abortion rights in places like New York, where it remains legal. Philip says she's personally against abortion, but she wouldn't force her beliefs others, and would oppose any attempt by Congress to oppose nationwide ban. She also said mifepristone, maybe you can pronounce this, mifepristone, an abortion medication, should be available nationally. Both candidates expressed unwavering support for Israel and its conflict with Hamas, even appearing side by side in an unusual joint event intended to convey solidarity. Democrats and Republicans will get a chance to fight over the congressional seat again in November, which might be a different district because New York's gerrymandered map has been taken to court, maybe thrown away. One that favors Democrats even more, actually. The only reason Republicans took so many seats is because they gerrymandered their map in 2020 in New York State. So there's your story on George Santos' seat. Sorry it took so long. Back to you.
Okay. Good job, everyone, for, I guess, replacing a fake guy with hopefully a real guy, a real politician.
Some of his biography checks out. Some of his biography checks out.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Crossing our fingers. Okay, for our next story, let's go ahead and talk about, where is it?
You got my link, right?
Huh?
You got my link. I sent it on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I've already done all of that ages ago. Yeah, that's how long your story was.
Okay. All right.
For our next story, in some weird news, Greenland, which is famously known as an icy place, is now becoming more green. This is from Silence Daily. An estimated 11,000 square miles or 28,707 square kilometers of Greenland's ice sheet and glaciers have melted over the last 3 decades, according to major analysis of historic satellite records. The total area of ice loss is equivalent to the size of Albania and represents about 1.6% of Greenland's total ice and glacier cover. Where there was once ice and snow, there's now barren rock, wetlands, and areas of shrub. A team of scientists from the University of Leeds, who have tracked the changes across Greenland from the 1980s through the 2010s, say warmer air temperatures are causing the ice to retreat, which in turn is having an impact on the temperature of the land surface, greenhouse gas emissions, and the stability of the landscape. Permafrost, a permanently frozen layer below the Earth's surface, is being degraded by the warming, and in some areas, scientists worry that could have an impact on infrastructure, buildings, and communities that exist above it. Yeah, a lot of towns are going to start sinking. Their findings: land cover changes across Greenland, dominated by a doubling of vegetation in 3 decades, are reported on the 13th of February in the Journal of Scientific Reports. Greenland is part of the Arctic region. It is the world's biggest island, around 330 square miles in size, or 2.1 million square kilometers. Most of the land is covered by ice and glaciers and is home to almost 57,000 people. Since the 1970s, the region has been warming at double the global mean rate. On Greenland, average annual air temperatures between 2007 and 2012 were 3 degrees warmer compared to 1979 to 2000 average, which is not a 10-year gap. They did kind of like a 10-ish year gap. Wait, what, 7? They did a 5-year gap there-ish, comparing it to the 1979. So that's a huge gap between just a few, like a handful of years, whereas there was not even a similar different temperature between 79 and 2000. And that was in Celsius, by the way. It's 3 degrees Celsius warmer in the five-ish years. The research warned that more extreme temperatures are likely in the future. Jonathan Karovic, and earth science based on the Faculty of Environment at Leeds. And one of the authors of the study said warmer temperatures are linked to the land cover chart changes that are seeing in Greenland. By analyzing high-resolution satellite images, we have been able to produce a detailed record of land cover changes that are taking place. Ice loss was concentrated around the edge of present-day glaciers, but also in the north, southwest of Greenland. There were also high levels of ice loss in localized areas in the west, mid-northwest, and southeast. Over the 3 decades, the amount of land with vegetation growing on it increased by 33,774 square miles, or 87,475 square kilometers, more than doubling over the study period. Wow. A pronounced increase in vegetation was seen across the southwest, east, and northeast. The greatest increase in dense wetland vegetation occurred in the vicinity of Kangerlussuaq in the southwest and isolated areas in the northeast. Analysis by the researchers revealed that vegetation had increased along a latitudinal gradient between 63 degrees north and 69 degrees north and declined north of this. Jonathan Karavik said, "We have seen signs that the loss of ice is triggering other reactions which will result in further loss of ice and further greening of Greenland, where the shrinking ice exposes bare rock that is then colonized by tundra and eventually shrub. At the same time, water released from the melting ice is moving sediment and silt, and that eventually forms wetland and fenlands. The loss of ice affects land surface temperatures because of albedo, which is the measure of how reflective a surface is. Snow and ice are good reflectors of the sun's energy hitting the Earth's surface, and that helps to keep the Earth cooler. As the ice retreats, it exposes bedrock, which absorbs more solar energy, raising the temperature of the land surface. Similarly, as ice melts, it increases the quantity of water in lakes. Water absorbs more solar energy than snow, and this is also increasing the temperature of the land surface. Right, we're living in a freaking biome, guys. Everything's connected. The analysis shows a near quadrupling of wetlands across Greenland, particularly in the east and northeast. The wetlands are a source of methane emissions. Writing in this paper, researchers noted expansion of vegetation, and especially in wetland areas, indicates but also exacerbates permafrost thaw, active layer thickening, and thus emissions of greenhouse gases previously stored in the Arctic soils. The researchers also developed a model to predict those areas on Greenland that are likely to see marked and accelerated change in the future. Dr. Michael Grimes, the lead author of the report, who conducted the research as part of their PhD, added, "The expansion of vegetation, occurring in the tandem with the retreat of glaciers and ice sheet, is significantly altering the flow of sediments and nutrients into coastal waters. These changes are critical, particularly for the indigenous populations whose traditional subsistence hunting practices rely on the stability of these delicate ecosystems. Moreover, the loss of ice mass in Greenland is a substantial contributor to global sea level rise, a trend that poses significant challenges both now and in the future." So that's right. Our hot planet is still hot, and it's going to get hotter because now there's less reflective ice sending those rays back into space. But that is also my weird and wacky news, because Greenland is becoming Greenland. It's becoming green, which is bad, but also funny. Into your next story.
Well, there's everybody's new vacation land.
Yeah, I guess
Greenland.
so. And get out of Hawaii.
Disney amusement park there coming soon. In more oddity news, a stingray with no male companion is pregnant in her mountain aquarium. This is from Ben Finley of AP. Charlotte, a rust-colored stingray the size of a serving platter, has been much of her life gliding around the confines of a storefront aquarium in North Carolina's Appalachian Mountains. She's 2,300 miles from her natural habitat under the waves of Southern California, and she hasn't shared a tank of water with a male of her species in at least 8 years. And yet nature has found a way. The aquarium's owner said the stingray is pregnant with as many as 4 pups and could give birth in the next 2 weeks. "Here's our girl saying, 'Hey, happy Valentine's Day, let's have some pups,'" said Brenda Raymer, executive director of the aquarium and shark lab on Main Street in downtown Hendersonville. An expert on the stingrays said it would have been impossible for Charlotte to have mated with one of the small sharks in a shark tank, despite the news reports suggesting that the case of after Rammer joked about possible interspecies hookup. Yeah, sharks are fish. The small aquarium is run by Raymer's educational nonprofit Team ECO, or ECO, ECCO, which encourages local school children and others to take interest in science. It's the biggest lesson now is on the process of parthenogenesis, a type of sexual reproduction in which the offspring develop from unfertilized eggs, meaning there is no genetic contribution by the male. The most rare phenomenon can occur in some insects, fish, amphibians, birds, and reptiles, but not mammals. Documented examples included California condors, Komodo dragons, and yellow-bellied snakes. Yeah, it's more likely than a mammal breeding with a fish, I would think. I don't know if you got stingrays that come out looking like sharks. I don't know, or maybe around something. Katie Lyons, a research assistant at the Georgia Aquarium in Atlanta, is not involved in the North Carolina Aquarium, said Charlotte's pregnancy is the only documented example she's aware of the species round stingrays. They are round stingrays, but Lyons isn't at all shocked. Other kinds of sharks, skates, and rays, a trio of animals often grouped together, have had these kinds of pregnancies in human care. I'm not surprised because nature finds a way of having this happen. To be clear, Lyons said, these animals are not cloning themselves. Instead, a female's egg fuses with another cell, triggers cell division, and leads to the creation of an embryo. The cell that fuses with the egg is known as a polar body. They are produced when a female is creating an egg, but usually aren't used. We don't know why it happens, Lyons said. Just that it's kind of a really neat phenomenon that they really seem to be able to do. Raymer said she and others at the nonprofit first thought that Charlotte had a tumor and they noticed a lump on her back that was blowing up like a biscuit, but another ultrasound revealed her pregnancy. We were all like, shut the back door, there's no way. We thought we were overfeeding her, but we were overfeeding her because she had more mouths to feed. Charlotte currently lives in a tank that's about 2,200 gallons or 8,300 liters and nearly the size of a construction dumpster. Raymer said they're hoping to get a tank nearly twice the size to accommodate Charlotte's offspring. They also wanted to put live cameras up for people to see that. It's very rare to happen, but it's happening. In the middle of Blue Ridge Mountains in rural North Carolina, hundreds of miles from the ocean. As for the suggestion that the Charlotte could have been impregnated by a shark, Lyons said it's impossible. Besides being different sizes, the animals wouldn't match up anatomically, neither would their DNA. We should set the record straight that there aren't some shark ray shenanigans happening here, said Lyons. There's shenanigans happening, not the type you want to talk about. In a while, they're typically the size of a small dinner plate, and their name comes from the circular shape. They come in all shades of brown. They eat small worms, crabs, and mollusks, and they are preyed upon by certain types of sharks, seals, and giant sea bass. They're well known to humans because of their painful sting, often resulting in a beachgoer's foot stepping on them. Southern California lifeguards encourage people to do the so-called stingray shuffle as they wade through the water, in large part because of the round stingrays. Lyons find the species Lyons is a person's name, not Lyons the animal. Finds the species fascinating. For example, embryos in the womb are bathed in uterine milk that provides nutrients to help them develop. I'm glad the round stingray is getting media attention that it deserves. They're not necessarily sexy white shark, but they do a lot of really neat stuff. So from that, we had a story also from the sexy stingray to the plague making a return. An Oregon resident was diagnosed with the plague. Here are a few things to know about the illness. This is another AP story. Rebecca Boone. Officials in Central Oregon this week reported a case of bubonic plague in a resident who likely got disease from a sick pet cat. The infected resident and the resident's close contacts have all been provided medication. Public health officials say people in the community are not believed to be at risk. The cat was also treated but did not survive. Plague is not common, but it also isn't unheard of in the western United States, where a handful of cases occur every year. It's different from Alaska pox, a rare recently discovered disease that killed a man in Alaska last month. Of course, it's different. It's called some different disease. There are a few things to know about what the plague is, who's at risk, and how a disease that was once a harbinger of death became a treatable illness. Plague is an infectious disease that can affect animals. It's caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, which is carried by rodents and fleas. Well, fleas and rodents and fleas. Sunlight and drying can kill plague bacteria on surfaces, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Humans and pets suspected to be sick with the plague are typically treated with antibiotics, sometimes with other medical measures. Plague symptoms can manifest in a few ways. Bubonic plague, that kind that contracted by the Oregon residents, happens when the plague bacteria gets into the lymph nodes. It can cause fever, headache, weakness, and painful swollen lymph nodes. It usually happens from the bite of an infected flea, according to the CDC. Septicemic plague symptoms happen if the bacteria gets into the bloodstream. It can occur initially or after bubonic plague goes untreated. This form of plague causes the same fever, chills, weakness, as well as abdominal pain, shocks, and sometimes other symptoms like bleeding into the skin and blackened fingers, toes, and nose. The CDC said this form comes from flea bites and from handling infected animals. Pneumonic plague is the most serious form of the disease. It occurs when the bacteria gets into the lungs. Pneumonic plague adds rapidly developed pneumonia to the list of plague symptoms. It's the only form of plague that can be spread from person to person by inhaling infectious droplets. All forms of plague are treatable with common antibiotics, and people who seek treatment early have a better chance of full recovery, according to the CDC. Am I at risk of plague? In the U.S., an average of 7 cases of human plague is reported each year, according to the CDC, and about 80% of them the bubonic form of the disease. Most of these cases were in the rural, western, and southwestern United States. A welder in Central Oregon contracted it in 2012 when he pulled a rodent out of his choking cat's mouth. In 2012, he survived, but lost his fingertips and toes to the disease. A Colorado teen contracted a fatal case while hunting in 2015, and Colorado officials confirmed at least 2 cases last year, one of them fatal. Worldwide, most cases of plague in recent decades have occurred in people living in rural towns and villages in Africa, particularly in Madagascar and Congo, according to the Cleveland Clinic. People can reduce the risk of plague by keeping their homes and outdoor living areas less inviting for rodents, and by clearing brush and junk piles, keeping pet food accessible. Yes, inaccessible. Keeping pet food inaccessible to insects. And ground squirrels, chipmunks, and wood rats can carry plague as well as other rodents, so people with bird and squirrel feeders may want to consider risks if they live in areas with plague outbreak. The CDC says repellent with DEET can also help protect people from rodent fleas when they're camping and working outdoors. Okay, so there you go. There's your plague prevention for a disease that strikes a whopping 7 people a year.
Yeah. Hey, that's still 7 people, man.
And in other news, 8 million people got the common cold yesterday. Yeah.
Measles is also making a return because, people, anti-vaxxers are like, why would I vaccinate my child for measles when they can just suffer? Hooray!
There's a delineation point of people you want to talk to. And the people that are anti-vaxxers, you don't want to spend any time talking to them. You just go stare at the sun. It'll be a better use of your time.
Yeah.
Back to you.
All right.
Anti-vaxxers.
It's Valentine's Day. You know what that means. We're going to talk about some Valentine's gift ideas. And this is from Joni Hormans on HLN, which is a Dutch news site. And they are going to share to you what they think you should do for Valentine's Day, and that's your wellness debut. If you're not an experienced wellness enthusiast, you may wonder, what tempts so many people to soak in whirlpools or do baths in steam cabins? Is that really as beneficial as claimed? Especially for newcomers in the wellness world. Let's find out what 5 things that you could do for your wellness debut instead of giving your loved one a flower, I guess. It's a goal. Benefits for your body. Wellness is healthy. And as long as hygiene requirements are respected and is not accompanied by the consumption of glasses of cava or champagne, however, in a recognized center, you can rest assured that it guarantees high quality standards and you can fully reap the benefits that sauna and co bring. Because the physical benefits are countless, for example, wellness improves your blood circulation, reduces muscle pain and the risk of cold, and helps you sleep better afterwards, which again brings a whole new host of health benefits. Yep, sleep, it all goes down to sleep at the end of it. It's mentally beneficial because it de-stresses you. But your mental health also benefits from a wellness visit. After all, it is the ultimate way to wash away the stress. And long-term stress is linked to a long list of ailments and conditions, from headaches, high blood pressure, to cardiovascular disease and burnout. Of course, there's also an aesthetic charm to the wellness. Radiantly clean, another pleasant advantage. It gives you radiant skin and prevents wrinkles, because everyone knows being old sucks. That was my own added thing to add in there. The warm water makes your heart pump faster, which improves blood circulation in your body. This increases the oxygen level in your body, which cleanses your skin from within. In addition, the heat opens your pores, causing you to sweat. This way, waste products disappear from your body just like germs. I'm sure this is totally scientific. Trust me, bro. The germs will just flow out of your skin if you just go into a sauna. A wellness moment from time to time makes you healthier and more beautiful, especially if you choose to institute with thermal water straight from the source in naturally rich materials. Hey, I'm only being half sarcastic with this article. Social! It's a real quality time, especially if you bring your significant other for Valentine's Day. A visit to a wellness center is also the perfect time to deepen and celebrate your relationship with your partner. When you have a completely relaxed, you are uninhibitedly enjoy each other's presence without distractions or worries from the hard daily life. In the beneficial bubble of wellness, you have time for each other and enjoy real quality time to the fullest. Also, number 5, why should you do this? Because it's fun, of course. Finally, apart from all the social, aesthetic, and health benefits, wellness is simply fun. What will relax you more than slipping into a steaming hot bath? Want to loosen your neck muscles under a waterfall or have a muscle massage by a water jet? Wellness means pure enjoyment. You let yourself be pampered from head to toe, and that's perhaps the most important part. To reason to put on that bathrobe and slippers as quickly as possible. Attention! There is also one disadvantage to getting into wellness, and that's it's addictive, and there's a good chance you'll never go back. So there's your five reasons why you need to give your freaking girlfriend or boyfriend or non-binary friend a card to the sauna so you can go together and I guess get naked in a totally relaxing way.
Wellness.
No, what else? Oh, here we go. Here is some unique Valentine treats that don't cost a fortune that you can also buy. This is from the Daily Trust by Elijah Jalal. Valentine's Day is a special time of year, as everyone knows. It's the capitalist holiday. However, in Nigeria, many people are facing economic challenges and inflation that makes it hard to afford expensive gifts and outings. That nonetheless does not mean people have given up on Valentine's Day. There are still many ways to show love and appreciation without breaking the bank. While it is often said that true love can't be bought, a thoughtful Valentine's gift or gesture can make your lover feel special. And finding something great for your favorite person doesn't have to empty your wallet. Here are the 6 things that they recommend. A handwritten note or poem for a lover on Valentine's Day is a very thoughtful gesture. It shows that you care enough to spend time and effort to express your feelings in a personal, creative way. A handwritten note or poem can also be a lasting reminder of your love and appreciation, something that your partner can cherish for years to come. I do keep all of my cards and notes that I get. So while some people think, oh, this is just a piece of paper with a note taken on it, even something as simple as, like I have one right here even. Congratulations on graduating with your, I think this was for my bachelor's degree, right? Just a small little note that I got, and I still have it and I still keep it. I keep all my notes, so For some people, it really is meaningful to write a card for someone, even if it's not, a freaking expensive gift. According to some sources,
it doesn't hurt to
Sorry?
That you care. Anyway,
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt to let people know that it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything to let. Some people don't know you care about them. If you don't tell them, they think you don't care. I definitely am somebody who needs people to tell me how they feel, because I assume they hate me if they don't tell me anything. That's my flaw.
That's a safe effect. That's a safe assumption, I think. Don't assume everybody likes you.
This person doesn't give a shit about me.
Maybe not.
It's a safe assumption. You can't get hurt if you think no one cares about you. Okay, according to some sources, a meaningful note is earnest and from the heart. And writing notes to a loved one is a dying art in the present age of texting and emailing. A handwritten note or poem can also customize to suit your partner's personality and preferences, making it more special and unique. Like those really fun ones that open and say funny messages on the inside. Those are always good. Homemade food. That's right. I don't know why they gendered this, but they gendered this, especially for women. Cooking a homemade food for one's partner on Valentine's Day is a wonderful way to show your love and appreciation. I guess because they're assuming only women cook. So, oh my God, the guy with the penis can cook too. Oh my God, I'm so impressed. Just FYI here. Rog was the cooker in our family, really. So. my mom cooks stuff for sure. She cooks stuff.
Good.
But I would say you cooked more.
I don't even make that.
So I don't understand this whole. I didn't grow up with this gendered. Oh, you cooking? I'm a woman. I must cook thing. I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, still, it is a thoughtful gesture to cook for your partner, something you can enjoy together. Cooking specifically for your partner can strengthen your relationship by enhancing your bond. You can also make the meal more romantic by choosing sensual foods, feeding each other, and setting the mood with candles and music. Baking or cooking homemade food for your partner is a gift that will nourish both your body and your soul. Hell yeah. A personalized photo album or scrapbook. Gifting one's partner a photo album or scrapbook on Valentine's Day is a romantic way to celebrate your love and memories. A photo album or scrapbook is personalized and meaningful present that shows how much you care about your partner and your relationship and how much you pay attention to them. Look how many pictures I took of you this year. When did you take these pictures? Stalker much? Just kidding. Is it stalking if you're in a relationship already? You can fill it with photos of your favorite moments, places, and things that you share. You can also add captions, stickers, quotes, and other embellishments that make it more creative and unique. A photo album or scrapbook is a gift that your partner can cherish for a long time and revisit whenever they miss you. Just don't do it every year because they're going to have too many scrapbooks. A piece of painting. A piece of painting work or any other artwork is a romantic Valentine's gift for one's lover because it shows your creativity and passion and appreciation. Key word, you have to be able to paint. Though maybe if you can't even paint, they'll still appreciate it because you tried. Art can express your feelings in a way that words cannot, and can also capture a special moment or memory that you share with your partner. It can also be personalized to suit your partner's taste, style, and making it meaningful and unique. Giving it a gift is a gesture of love that lasts for a long time will remind your partner of everything, remind you of them every time they see it. And finally, not finally, two more. Next, we've got movie night. A movie night at home can be a beautiful Valentine's gift for your lover because it allows you to enjoy quality time together in a cozy and intimate setting. You can choose a movie that suits your mood and preferences, whether it's romantic, a comedy, a thriller, or a classic. You can also prepare some delicious snacks and treats such as popcorn, chocolate, wine, or soda, and cuddle on the couch in bed. Movie night at home is a simple but meaningful way to show your love and appreciation for your partner. Finally, some would call the cheapest gift of all, gifting somebody a potted plant. Like a small succulent. Plants and succulents are easy to care for and can thrive in various conditions, just like a healthy relationship. They also add beauty and freshness to your partner's home and office, reminding them of every time you see them. A plant or succulent gift can be personalized with a cute pot, a card, and a tag with a sweet message. It is a thoughtful and eco-friendly way to show your love and appreciation. I say, do all of these on Valentine's Day. Make them a card, make them a scrapbook, paint them a picture. watch a movie together, and give them a plant. And they're just going to be covered. At least this Valentine's Day. That's my list of Valentine's doohicles to do. On to this day in history. Doohicles.
Good luck to everybody. Good luck to everybody. I'm sure somebody cares. Besides being Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday, of course, I always remember the first time I saw a Catholic friend with that thing in their forehead.
Yeah.
Don't tell your friends, hey, you got some on your forehead. Richard Allen, founder of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, was born in Philadelphia. Also, in this day, 1766, Thomas Malthus, an English economist and demographer, best known for his theory that population growth will always tend to outrun the food supply and should be checked by stern limits on reproduction, is believed to have been born this day. Well, if they were keeping stern limits on reproduction, they definitely would have known if he was born that day, right? They would have been, there's a baby. Yeah. One baby in this village. No more. 1779, Captain James Cook was killed by Hawaiians in a dispute over a theft of a cutter. Oh, here's your cutter.
Fuck James Cook. Go to hell. Hawaii forever. Free Hawaii.
One of the Hawaiian natives said,
free Palestine and free
your
Hawaii.
Cutter. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, what? I'm just saying my political stance on Hawaii is that it should be freed from tourism. That's all.
Well, anyway, I tried to make a joke, but I guess. Anyway, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell applied for a patent for the telephone. In 1894, American inventor Jack Benny, whose unusual comic method and expert timing made him a legendary success in radio and television, was born. 1920, with the establishment of women's suffrage in the United States, Carrie Chapman Catt formed the League of Women Voters in Chicago. In 1929, another famous event that took place in this day, members of Al Capone's gang of bootleggers massacred a rival gang run by George Moran in Chicago during the Prohibition era. 1929, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, it was called. 1946, the first general-purpose high-speed electric digital computer, ENIAC, was demonstrated, to the public by its creator, J. Presper Eckert Jr. and John W. Mauchly, creators. And ENIAC stands for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. They put the "and" in the acronym. A lot of people don't put the "and" in there. 1946, American dancer, choreographer, and actor Gregory Hines, a major figure in the revitalization of tap dancing in the late 20th century, was born. 1991, the psychological thriller Silence of the Lambs was released on this day and widely regarded as a classic. Won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture actor Anthony Hopkins, actress Jodie Foster, and director Jonathan Demme. Eat that with some fava beans and a Chianti. 2005, Steve Chen, Chad Hurley, and Jawad Karim registered YouTube, a website for sharing videos. Never heard of it. It would become hugely popular with more than 1 billion unique users and visiting the site every month. No idea. No, YouTube? No, something. You've heard of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Humor falling in deaf ears this morning. This day in our featured event, Frederick Douglass was born. And it says February 1818. So apparently they don't know what year, but they know the day. Apparently. But he was born in February of 1818 in Tuckahoe, Maryland, which is right across the bay.
Yeah.
From where I am. February 20th, 1895, he died in Washington, D.C. And that anniversary is in 6 days. They can't do math here. Also on this day, featured event, fatwa issued against Salman Rushdie. On this day, 1989, Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran issued a fatwa offered a bounty for the assassination of Salman Rushdie, whose novel, The Satanic Verses, Khomeini denounced as blasphemous, which is complete horseshit. By the way, somebody did attack Salman Rushdie a couple of years ago with a knife, almost killed him.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck you, Rallah Khomeini. I hope you get sores on your anus. What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Also birthday today, Jimmy Hoffa. We don't know what happened to Jimmy Hoffa, but he was born in 1913 on this day. 1942, Michael Bloomberg, American business politician, was born in 1942 in this day, so he is 82. Man. 1946, American he did Gregory Hines. Shashma Swaraj, Indian politician, born in 1952. Steve McNair, American football player, born in 1973. And as a bonus, this day in rock history, kind of an eventful day in rock history. On this day in 1965, Otis Redding recorded Respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, at Atlantic Studio, New York City. At first, a ballad, Respect, was written by Redding for Speedo Sims, who intended to record it with his band, the Singing Demons. Redding rewrote the lyrics and sped up the rhythm. The song became a 1967 hit and signature song for Aretha Franklin.
Hell yeah.
In 1968, let's go to 1970. The Who appeared at Leeds University, England. The show was recorded for the band's forthcoming Live at Leeds album. Since its initial reception, Live at Leeds has been cited by several music critics as the best live rock recording of all time. The University of Leeds Refectory has now been named a national landmark in the UK, commemorated with a blue plaque. Yes, Live at Leeds.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I've definitely heard of it.
It was their Who at their peak, 1970. Even before Who's Next, even before their monumental success afterwards. 1972, John Lennon and Yoko Ono started a 5-episode run as co-hosts on the Mike Douglas U.S. TV show. The Philadelphia-based talk show was the most popular show on daytime television, seen by about 40 million people a week. As hosts, Lennon and Ono broached controversial topics, including the empowerment of women, the deterioration of the environment, as well as police violence. And they had their own musical guests that only John Lennon can attract, like Chuck Berry. And on this day in 1973, David Bowie was knocked unconscious and carried off stage after an excited fan rushed on stage. Bowie was knocked to the ground during the concert at Radio City Music Hall in New York City when he performing Rock and Roll Suicide, the final song of the show, and a fan took it literally.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Knocked him out cold. End of the show. You killed the singer. Huh?
Dived onto the stage.
Luckily, David Bowie did live through it. Okay, and what national days is it today? We've covered most of this. National Organ Donor Day. So if you're not giving hearts for Valentine's Day,
You're doing it wrong.
give a heart to somebody that physically needs one. National Ferris Wheel Day. A lot of people die in Ferris wheels and donate their organs. That's true.
Also, you can make out on a Ferris wheel for Valentine's Day.
I don't know nobody dies in Ferris wheels, do they? They're not that dangerous.
Unless they get a heart attack, which means they can't.
Shame on you for thinking. It's also National Cream-Filled Chocolates Day. What a coincidence! It falls on Valentine's Day. I'm sure that's just
totally
a coincidence. It's
not
also
that way.
Those are all the ridiculously named days we come up with today that aren't Valentine's Day. Anyway, they're not ridiculous. They're fine. I don't know why Ferris wheel be in February. It's like, let's go, unless you're in the southern hemisphere, let's go out there and shiver. Oh. Yeah. Can we leave now? I can't move my mouth.
I'm stuck to the Ferris wheel.
Those are all the days today for everyone on February 14th, 2024 on Before Coffee. Back to you.
Right. This has been Allison here from the Netherlands, where, I don't know what I'm going to do for Valentine's Day, if I'm going to do anything. I don't really celebrate very many holidays, if any at all, but I hope everyone else out there is having a good day, whether you are with a loved one or not, because, hey, it's just another day for some people, and that's okay. We will see you tomorrow for Themeless Thursday, where we're going to talk about whatever the hell we want, where we kind of do try to stay on theme for most of these days, but Thursday, who cares? I hope you have a good one. We see you next time. Here's your mic drop moment.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.